Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Focal Plane podcast, to which, of course, you've subscribed. Otherwise, how are you going to see these human stories come to life? So, look, today's world is ever-changing and is moving at a rapid pace. And particularly if you are a business owner, the world of marketing, SEO, and talking about AI is just off the chart at the moment. And I said talking with an inflection because I think there's a nuanced line between talking about it and really understanding what AI brings to us as business owners and how we can use that as a tool to make sure that we actually succeed in that ever-changing world. So my guest today is James Peters from Artemis Marketing. Hello.
Hi, yeah. How you doing?
Yeah, great to have you. Great to have you here, James.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, look, Artemis Marketing has what I would describe as an embarrassing accolade of humongous awards, nominations.
Thank you.
That you guys have clearly worked your socks off to be at the top of the game there. And so wonderful to have you here. It's great to have someone from an organization that really clearly cares about what they're doing in that space. So thank you for your time. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, tell us a little bit, James. So where have you come from to get into Artemis Marketing? What's your story?
So personally, I've always worked within a sales background.
Yeah.
And that's varied from product to product. But the bulk of my career has been in the digital marketing space. Across the board there. And that's working within a large corporate entity where I did my initial kind of work. I learned a lot. I worked through both business development management, but also training and then managing teams there. And I think the sad thing was it was a corporate environment and it was what you expected. I wasn't necessarily James Peters. I was 47312JA.
Interesting. Yes.
And so I think
it always lives up to the stereotypes, doesn't it?
Whenever
someone says it felt corporate.
Don't get me wrong. There were some great people there, some great leaders, and I learned an awful lot. But obviously, I then worked in another corporate. So I've worked in Octopus Energy, $9 billion company. And again, that was growing teams and working within that side. But with Artemis, I've known the owner for several years. The business is going to be 22 years old in July, which is fantastic.
Nice.
And he reached out at the right point and said, look, this is my plans for the business. And actually, I think you would work beautifully here. And here we are. And it's gone super fast. It's probably nearing on my second year towards the end of this year now. But so much has happened in that time. And like you said, the market's changed and how search functions has even changed in the time since I've been working here. So it's been a real roller coaster, definitely.
Oh, for sure. And I absolutely want to get onto that in just a moment. But what is it that's actually drawn you to this place? So, like you say, this is an ever-changing world. It takes a certain mindset to really embrace that.
Yeah.
So where do you get your little tickles in terms of the role that you're doing?
So I think digital marketing and marketing in general is one of those products where someone will invest in it, a business owner will invest in it, and they get a return on investment. It's not something that's going to sit on their driveway and depreciate. It's not something like that. It's something which, if we do a great job at, this can change their lives. This can help a business go from one person to some examples we've got where they've exited for multiple millions. We never get a 10% cut of that at the end, sadly, but effectively we can watch this business grow. And what we don't necessarily see, but you hear from the relationships you build, is that's putting their children through school. That's allowing them to go on that holiday. And that's why I love digital marketing. And that's
huge,
why I work in it.
That's brilliant. I love hearing that because so many people, and I'm making an assumption here when I say so many people, but I'm going to put some monopoly money on this to say that, when we hear about SEO, we hear about marketing, we hear about companies that specialize in that, we understand the function. Right. So people who are like myself, I'm not in that world in terms of, having an in-depth understanding of SEO and things, but it's a thing that we need. Okay. Oh, there's a company that does it. Cool. Great. But actually, hearing from you, the way that you see the journey with a business, seeing them flourish, seeing them grow because of the work that you guys are doing in the background, and you light up talking about it. It's great to hear that, and that's having that motivation behind you must be a massive boon for your clients.
100%. We take it personally, and you see that within the team themselves. they take everything personally. Algorithms change.
Yeah.
It's not a case of one fix and there you go, you're ranking particularly great. Like, that can change. And it's not a case of, oh, well, we did the best we could. It's a case of, what do we need to do to bring that back?
Yes.
And it's when you meet the SEO team and you hear them and speak to them, you really see that. And that's why I love being a part of it.
Awesome. And of course, if anyone was to go on your website, which I'd highly encourage them to do,
Yes.
there's this wonderful video that you have at the front page where, if I recall rightly, somebody's holding a piece of paper above your head saying knowledgeable.
I don't know whether that was entirely accurate, but
we're going to test that.
Certainly not compared to them. But yeah, I think I have a desire for knowledge, and I think that's important, and that's something which we bring to our clients.
Awesome. So, you mentioned something earlier, which I thought was an interesting analogy. You talked about how that, SEO marketing, understanding that world and helping people to flourish. It's not like having something in your driveway that depreciates, you said, right? But I guess it could be if it's not done correctly or not viewed correctly.
100%. Yeah. And we see it all the time. We get contacted by businesses and they've been stung. And sadly, we work in a very unregulated industry, to the point where, as I say, you see so many new startups within it, and they don't necessarily bring to the fore what we would bring in that case. I'm not trying to sound boastful or anything in that sense, but I think I guess the best way to describe it is what we've done to counteract that. So full transparency, timesheets we give our clients, things like that, to show this is what we're doing. Because take SEO, you don't flick a switch. It's not like Google Ads, you flick a switch and ads there and suddenly you get some clicks through. SEO builds up over time. Look at it like planting a tree. It's got to be nurtured, watered, until it starts yielding apples at the end of the day, where clients won't necessarily see all that hard work that's going in until it suddenly starts paying off. And when it does, wow, it really does. So we like to be super transparent, but that's sadly not always the case.
Well, I think that flows through well in what I see of you in your own presence, right? So if I look on your LinkedIn profile, most of the time when you post something, it pops up on my feed. I see stuff that's actually about educating people. It's actually about making sure that people are aware of where pitfalls may lie or blind spots they may have in their own thinking around SEO, which is, that's for me like a huge credibility factor, because, so like you say, SEO and businesses that work in that space, there is a degree of, a lack of regulation, shall we say. And the trouble is, and as I was alluding to earlier, someone like myself who's just saying, look, I kind of know I need this, but I don't really get it, but I know I need this to work for me. That's about as far as my knowledge is going to go. So really, whoever I speak to who will hold the wonderful golden carrot in front of me, whoever does that quickest is probably going to get my attention, rather than necessarily me understanding the nuances behind it. But it's so great to see, like, when you put educational pieces out, when you start raving about some of the success, the real material success that you're bringing to your client base. That's beautiful. Like, I love how that just ties together in a nice bow. So great for doing that.
Thank you. No, I think it's important, and equally, I would encourage any business. It is very easy to go into speaking with a marketing company and kind of just knowing your goals and kind of hoping they get it and trusting the odd review you've seen. But do a little bit of research, particularly around SEO, because you can go to some business's website and their title tags aren't necessarily optimized, but they're going to do that for you. So you kind of want to look at their home first. And these little key bits, which you could check easily as a small business owner, have a look at those first and really kind of think, okay, well, is that kind of the right, have they set themselves up for success? And if they haven't, will they do the same for me? So I would always encourage every business owner, do at least a little bit of research before. But then, let's have the conversation always.
Awesome. And so what are the things that you see? I mean, following on from what you've just mentioned, what are the things that you see business owners doing, or mistakes that they might be making unwittingly around this space?
I think the biggest one more recently, and we notice it on calls when we're doing some outreach, is I just have a website. It's there.
Yeah.
I otherwise get my work through word of mouth or referrals, things like that. And look, don't get me wrong, referrals will always be the best way of getting business. I think most of the work we get is through referrals.
Yeah. I mean, because you've already got the trust factor there.
Yeah,
significantly.
100%.
Yes.
But at the same time, businesses need to take online seriously, and especially with what we'll continue to discuss today, AI, and that the changes in AI search that are having an effect.
Yeah.
You've got nearly 45% of the UK population now utilize AI. So I get the website's there. What if you're not getting the referrals? All that takes is one bad review, one awful review because you dropped the ball once in 25 years.
Hey man, like we're all fallible, so
exactly,
these things will
we're all
happen.
human at the end of the day. All it takes is that, and
Yeah.
suddenly that credibility you've relied upon to just get that phone ringing goes.
Yeah.
So unless you've got that strong foundation within which you can grow your business and continue to get work in, I think that's probably the biggest mistake, and I still hear it. I still hear it to this day.
Yeah. And so, and what do you, when you recognize that, when you see that in business owners, either people who have perhaps approached you, or you're just from your hawk eye when you're looking around you, what are the key, what are the key ways that people can mitigate this, or easy steps that someone might just be able to just start with the ball rolling to make sure they don't fall into these traps?
I think it's a case of, it's a mentality shift of start taking your online presence seriously and see it more so as your shop front, rather than just something that's there and you've got it if people need to refer to it.
It's the first impression before you get a chance to make 100%. A first impression, right?
Yeah, 100%. So I think just start taking that seriously, and then look, you don't even need to speak to an agency, but do some research yourself and just make sure, right, the data, the content of my website is accurate.
Yes.
Best portrays kind of what I'm trying to show the world, and really puts yourself, especially when we're talking about AI, as the expert within your field, within your area, or further afield if that's where you cover. That's just the core basics you want to get right. And then speak to an agency. Like it's not a case of, even with us, and there'll be other agencies out there like it, where you pick up the phone and you need to insert your credit card details before we will tell you anything or give you any advice. Like we will have a conversation, and we'll try and help businesses where we can. But the more complex bits, that's where we start looking at, right, how can we support you on an ongoing basis? Just pick up the phone, call me, ask for advice. I'll always jump if I can.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit about, because I love that philosophy anyway, but tell us some stories about where you've managed to, or you and your team, should I say, have managed to really kind of turn other things around, or really optimize things to just help that growth for them.
I think you're right. It is never just me, because the complex bits, as I say, that's over my head. But fortunately, we've got an internal team who are great at it.
Awesome.
A good example will actually be a hot tub company. Fairly local. Was a one-man band, as most businesses start nowadays. Hot tubs, very niche type product as such. Not everyone's going to have one in the back garden as much as we might want it, but otherwise,
I was going to offer you some champagne in mine later, but
there we go. I can't quite see out to spot, but otherwise, So he approached us.
Sure.
He was very transparent and upfront and said, "Look, I've got this budget. I've just not got work coming in." And what we actually did was we looked in depth. We did a bit of an audit and research within the side there, which is what we do for all our clients. And he didn't actually need to spend that budget. And this is rare that an agency, maybe, I don't want to be too harsh of our market as such, but it's rare an agency will turn around and say, no, you don't need to spend all of that money.
It's rare in most markets, isn't
it? I think it is, but you don't need to spend all of that. Actually, all we need to do is, I think in this case it was website, some social advertising for this client with a little bit of SEO work in the background there. And this one-man band has now hired an additional 2 people just over 6 months. So you look at that and you think you can have a really big impact. You don't need to be money grabbing in order to do it. And we do turn some clients away because we're not and perhaps this is where I differ from the corporate side where I was before, where you would see some horrible stories come off the back of it because we were taking the budget of a client when actually you look at it and you think that was never going to make a dent. And actually they'd do better just pop that money in the street. And as I say, they've still got the same results.
But that's a really interesting, just on that point that you made. I'm intrigued to know, and of course, we're keeping everything anonymous here and not naming names, but I'm intrigued to know what that was like. So what could potentially businesses, be they solopreneurs or bigger teams, what could people be sleepwalking into if they're not careful?
So I think it's a case of most businesses will have a budget in mind, and they'll be able to kind of ascertain, okay, this is what I've got to spend. You've just got to be careful and look at the type of product that business is discussing with you and think about, maybe do a bit of market research. Make sure you're asking your current customers, like, how have they found you? Where have they come through from that sense? Because that can be a really useful place to start. Let's try and get more through that channel.
Likewise, I guess if someone's saying or asking that question, their expectation is, through Google, because that's what we're paying for, and nobody's coming up with that answer. That could start to raise a few eyebrows, right?
100%. And I think read reviews, go on trust. I had it. I had it not long ago with a client. So we're an SEO agency.
Sure.
The role of an SEO agency is obviously to drive organic traffic. One of the ways which that is ascertained is through improving your rankings kind of within the area there.
Sure.
And I had a client over in Chichester. They are now a client with us. They're delighted. They're happy with what we're doing. They've moved everything over to us, in fact, now rather than just the SEO. And he said, look, I've actually been quoted this by another company. And so I'm a bit torn as to what to do. Love your reputation, etc. I can see the reviews. And I just said to him, search SEO Chichester. We're based in Hassocks, just north of Brighton. Tell me who comes up number one. It was us. And I said, well, that's what we bring to clients. That's our expertise. And we know how to do this for businesses. And he is a client of ours now. But even basic little checks like that, reviews, what that company's doing with their own marketing, can really help you make a good judgment, I think.
That's huge. Like, all of that is quite incredible when you think about it. So, if a prospective client of yours or anybody is hearing those sorts of messages come out, thinking, "Wow, actually, well, clearly it can work, and clearly here is the proof in the pudding as to what investment in the right sort of areas can really get you." Because do you know what? There will be lots of people, consumers, target clients or audiences who I'm just thinking about this thing now, let me just Google it, bang, I don't have time to do much more, here's the first few results, here we go. Now, that's not everybody, of course it isn't, but to be in the chance of getting there, you have to be in the game to start with.
100%.
And so it's great to hear that's the kind of level we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. And as I say, the team are passionate, the team love it, and like we've got our office in Hassocks. Like, we encourage clients, come in, meet the people, see us. It's not just two people at the bottom of the garden in the shed. It is this powerhouse of passionate people sat in an office who you can come, speak to, tell about your business, and meet face to face. So I'm also even encouraged that, mainly because I love meeting the new businesses coming in. So come to Hassocks.
Yeah, and look, because you guys, I can't remember if it was that you were nominated for it or won the award about being on, I think, was it the Times best place to work or something?
100%. Yeah, Small Business Times 2025. Very proud of that. Used it in a video the other day, actually, because we are actively recruiting at the minute.
Excellent. So, you guys got a hot tub in every corner now.
I wish. But
maybe you shouldn't have won that award.
There we go. Clearly, we're behind. Lord knows there's businesses nowadays who would have that, wouldn't they? But we don't have it. But if you need one, I know a guy.
You know a guy.
So no, really good.
Well, surely we don't have to ask you, James, because we could just Google it and they'll be at the top, right?
Yeah, well, you would think so. Yeah, 100%. Well, he's probably too busy. Can't take on more work at this point. Yeah,
just chilling in the hot tub. Yeah, God.
Exactly.
Excellent. So then, we've talked in context around Google a lot. Right. But of course, as we were alluding to earlier, it is now not the only player in the game in terms of how you should be looking at optimizing your presence online. So the big chat around AI is there. Look, I mean, clearly right this very second, I'm jumping on that bandwagon talking about it. But essentially, what do you, just from your point of view, right? And what do you see as being, real, meaningful applications, conversations, and what do you see as just being hype?
So I think I saw it recently.
Yeah.
So take LinkedIn. So you're on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So did you make yourself a toy? When everyone was doing that?
I actively did not.
Yes, you did not. Loads of people did.
Yeah.
So they input into ChatGPT, this is me, this is my hobbies, this is what I do for work, and it made them into a toy in a box.
Which then made me furious looking at it. But
exactly. But no. But then, did I do it? Probably, yeah. But then, and then again, more recently, it was a case of people turning themselves into cartoons.
Oh, the
things
caricature
like that.
thing.
The caricature one.
Yes.
So that's happened. So look, AI has its uses, and they can be basic. But one of the posts I actually did on LinkedIn at that time afterwards was, great, love that people are using this. Well, like I said earlier, half the people in the UK now half the adult population are using AI in some form. Put in there, if you're a solicitor, don't turn yourself into a toy in a box. Search who's the best solicitor in Brighton. And if you're not coming up within that AI search, ask it, why did you not recommend ABC Limited? And it'll tell you some clear answers on why it didn't. And that can give you a basis. It's not going to be the be all end all, and it's not the magic silver bullet there, but it can give you a foundation to start and think. In some cases, let's take an example. ABC Limited doesn't have any reviews. So when the search was for best solicitors in area, you weren't coming up as the best because I based this on reviews, and you don't have any. Right, I need to go and get reviews. Best in Brighton. Let's say they're actually in Shoreham. Let's say along the coast a bit more. Have they got a geo page for Brighton? Have they got any content relating to the fact that they also serve Brighton? So there's great ways AI can be used, but there's also some fun ways. But yeah, I think AI is seen. So AI apps, even in the last year, like the downloads have increased by something like 65%. It's insane. And when I say any stats today, this is based upon me reading various different articles. So you'll see one figure one place and you'll see a slightly different the other. So I can only give a rough idea when we look at it. But regardless of that, increase in app downloads has increased. Did it the other night. I was watching, I don't know whether you watch Netflix at all as such. But,
I mean, yes, but I'm not going to tell you what I watch on Netflix.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I was watching. So I was watching the Gordon Ramsay documentary.
Yeah. I've got that on my favourites to watch later. Yes.
It's really good. Yes. Interesting. So Gordon Ramsay turned around and he said something like, London is the epicenter of great food. And I was looking over at my wife and I was like, I don't know, like Paris, Rome? Am I just thinking because I like that type of cuisine? And she said, no, it's Tokyo. Tokyo's got the... And I was like, no, you're wrong. What do? I grab my iPhone. Hey, Siri. Oh, good. I've turned my phone off, actually, so it won't suddenly start talking.
Good.
Hey, Siri, which city has the most Michelin stars, or which capital city has the most Michelin stars? iPhone, do you want to use ChatGPT to answer this question? Yes, I do. It's Tokyo, believe it or not. I didn't know that. My wife was right. So, she was quite smug after we discussed it. But my instant reaction wasn't to go to Google and check. It was to ask my phone and then use ChatGPT. And that's happening more often. Okay. But interestingly, searches within AI have gone away almost from the what is the best and what the etc. to who is the best or the best solicitor or the best accountant and things like that. People are using it for more search now.
And I've read as well that, like you say, in terms of how people write their search terms, I've read there's also a bit more of a which solicitor can do X.
Yes.
How 100%. Can I get this done here in that location, whatever. And that's, again, if somebody isn't necessarily playing into that game, they're not even in the running, are they?
100%, no, not at all. And that's the thing. So 25% of searches now have an AI overview when you're doing them in Google. And as I say, so people can get answers substantially quicker than having to click. So we saw, and the industry saw, and the whole UK saw, clicks actually go down when these AI overviews came about. So as I say, people are getting answers easier. And so some businesses are obviously looking at it and panicking, thinking, crumbs, my clicks have gone down. But at the same time, just before I go too doom and gloom and into that horrible tunnel, what it is it's less browsers, more buyers now who are coming through to their sites. So again, let's hit the stats, but I've seen a variation in this side. But if you said last year, Google's conversion rate was something like between 2.8% and let's say 4%. AI's conversion rate, when consumers have utilized AI within that search and then traveled through and contacted a business, was nearer 14.7%.
Wow.
So as I say, it's the conversion rate that's super important, and clicks are great, but the best marketing companies I think now are more so focused around building up that brand and that expertise rather than just focusing on clicks.
But just think, I mean, those, on the face of it, those may seem like trivial numbers, but just think what that could mean for any business. You know, if my conversions have tripled, quadrupled, because I've optimized, you know, the way to get AI to drive traffic towards me.
100%.
That's game changing. It's absolutely game changing.
That's the thing. You want to be cited in AI now.
So then what do you think is the, you know, for business owners who maybe aren't au fait with that? And, you know, what do you see happening to a business if they're not kind of getting on board with this now? Like if they kind of say, look, there's a time and a place, I'm just not right in that time to start engaging with this right now, I've got other things to focus on. What happens to that business in a year, 2 years, 3 years?
I don't think it's necessarily going to be a dramatic shift in a year or two, but let's go really one side and say Blockbuster turned around and said that consumers would like the nostalgia of going in and perhaps bumping into their neighbor. That was one of the reasons they didn't see Netflix as a threat. And so, look, that's a real hard case example. And I'm not trying to petrify people listening to this or watching this. But I think you've got to, as a business, adapt. And you've got to kind of say, you might not be the first, but certainly you don't want to be the last. And so I think it's a discussion around adopting early and taking it seriously. And you'll still see some marketing companies, because I do a little bit of research every now and again. Some don't even reference AI within their website, even though that's forming such a big part of search now. So I think you've just got to take it seriously.
And taking it seriously is, you know, I mean, that's the key message clearly from a lot of the things we've been talking about up to this point. But thinking, you know, practically, pragmatically, if you have a business owner or a business that has a department or a person or a team who's maybe responsible for looking at this, and their time is limited, it's stretched, they have various other responsibilities going on, life gets in their way, etc. If someone only had like a couple of hours a week where they could go, all right, I can actually diarize something here just for an hour or two to understand where I'm at with this and make some meaningful changes, what should they be focusing on?
So I think there's an awful lot that needs to be looked at. But if we just took a couple of key, easy points. So with AI search, it's all around citations and being cited as an expert within what it is you do. And much about that is making sure that you are very much trusted as a business. there's loads of directories out there that you can get on, most of which you don't have to pay for. If you've got a little bit of time, go on, make sure your business name is there, your address is correct, your contact details are correct, and there's a good description of what it is that you do and what it is you're an expert at as a business. It's not going to take huge amounts of time, but over time, things like that can really help. That's what you would call a structured citation. So these types of directories, when you then work with an agency as such, that's when you look at unstructured citations. So that is us building out links and doing articles for you which reference your business as an expert within that field, etc. So you can do the structured element. That's a really good way. Well, like I said earlier, just go to ChatGPT, search within your field. Yes. Are you appearing? Are you not appearing? Ask it. Why not? And then maybe make the odd tweaks. Get reviews. Please ask your clients, your customers for reviews. Because that is a massive trust signal.
And display them, make them visible as well.
100%.
Which is an immense thing that we absolutely don't put as much stock in as we should.
No,
for the most part.
I know it's hard.
Yes.
I trust me. I get that it's hard. Even when clients are happy, you sometimes have to drag them kicking and screaming. But at the same time, it's so important now. And I think even let's go even more basic. Actually, look at your website. Go on your website and actually look at it, because the number of businesses you sort of speak to and it's like, I hadn't spotted that within the site. Just take that time you mentioned, those couple of hours or whatever, and just go through page by page and say, right, if I was searching for this, is this appealing to me? Look at it on a mobile device, because a lot of AI type search products at the minute, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, etc., are mobile first when it comes to the data. So make sure that, as I say, everything you want to convey is working within a mobile first world.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's something, again, like, unless you are conscious of that, it's not something you're going to have at the front of your mind to make sure you get right. Because yes, the way that things, even just basic things like how things format between different websites on a laptop screen versus on a mobile, just that, even that basic level of just making sure that is right is a good place to start for some people. 100%. For sure. And then as you say, getting the right information in the right places. Clearly, as you know, in your guys' mind will be around how that's optimized, but actually just making sure that what is there is accurate to start with.
You've got a foundation at least would be really handy. And I think it all comes back to that mentality switch I said earlier, which is just taking it seriously and imagining it as your shop front and thinking, right, are the windows dirty? Is there a load of weeds out the front? What do I need to do to make it more appealing? That's a foundational base level start. There's a lot more complexity, otherwise everyone would be doing it. But as I say, as long as you've got those parts right, we can really help accelerate and build off of that at that point.
Awesome. And just one thing I want to just mention about, I guess, around the AI conversation. And this may, like, forgive me if this isn't necessarily that relevant to you or Artemis does. But I'm just curious about this, because there's this ever louder conversation. If you are one of those people who are chronically on LinkedIn, shall we say, right? And which for me is like an ebb and flow thing. I might be chronically on it for a week and then forget for a month or whatever. But there is this whole thing of, look, people are just using AI for everything now. Right. And I'm talking about for marketing purposes as well. Right. So, I want to showcase this product. I want to showcase this service. Here is a rather on the nose copied pasted thing from an AI generated chat.
Load of M dashes, loads of M dashes, and things like that.
I mean, to the point,
it's ruined M dashes, hasn't it? AI now, as I say, it was so great. But
we live in this like odd dystopia where the conversations about this from people who are maybe upset about it write posts that are clearly generated by AI. And I look at it and thinking, I can't be the only person who's recognizing this. You look to see if anyone's commented to go, like, is someone going to call this person out? I don't know. Like, I wouldn't be brave enough to, number one. But what?
Worryingly, some of the comments are AI as well. You can see, and it's like, oh, okay.
But and I guess apart from like the trust element that if people people look at that. I know that there are some stats out there, I can't remember them offhand, about people who get switched off if they feel that they recognize AI is being used either as a marketing tool or otherwise.
Yeah.
But what's your opinion on this from where you sit? Like, I know you will see similar things.
Yeah.
And is this something that you really truly see as being either harmless or actually can be quite detrimental to a business, or what's your view?
I think when it comes to content, and I have no issues with AI, and I'll be entirely honest, I will write an email out, I will waffle because that is what I do.
Sure.
I'll run it through Gemini.
Hey, yeah,
and
fine,
then they'll spit it back out, and I'll go back through it and just check that is me effectively, because
M-no.
exactly. But equally, I know that I can, and I'll probably do it here today. I'll just talk because I love something or I'm passionate about it, and then suddenly I'm like, oh, that's this is a business owner. They haven't got time for all that, so condense. So I think it has a place, don't get me wrong. And I think, look, if a business owner was creating content, I think AI is probably a great place to start, because I think it's the prompts you put in, and that's where you need to humanize it.
Yes.
Get the content, but you do then need to really go back through that and check, because AI is not always right. It's only as good as what you put into it.
Yeah.
And so I think it has a place is the answer, but I think you can't just copy and paste. It does need to be looked at, and that's where a professional can come in, whether it's copywriting or whether it's from a SEO type agency or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I hear and could totally hear you on that. And I think one of the nuanced things that comes on this, which is interesting, is like, you say about using AI to create posts or emails. Hey, it is a commonly done thing.
Yeah.
I do it, you do it, lots of people do it.
Yeah.
And we, if we're careful enough and make sure that it still speaks with our voice.
Yes.
And yes, we can train AI algorithms to do that, which is great. I still haven't quite perfected that myself. I find that whatever I say, it maybe does hear some of it and then it doesn't, and whatever.
Still adds M dashes or still Americanizes it. Yeah.
But even on the point of when you were talking earlier around, look, if you're curious as a business as to where you sit, not just in terms of your online presence, but if you're trying to generate leads or otherwise, ask AI where you're at with this. Ask AI where you can make things better. But there is this also increasing noise around the fact that, and this I've seen this around, say, ChatGPT. I use that as an example, but I assume this exists elsewhere, where there's a lot of AI telling you stuff is great when you suggest stuff to it. Is this the right idea? Yes, of course it is. Yeah. You're wonderful. And you might put then a counterpoint to it and go, you're also right about that because you're wonderful. And I've seen this in real, like, I've seen this in front of my eyes when I've done this, right? Right, well, okay. So
that's what you need, an ego boost that day, isn't it? But it's interesting you say that. So I do a lot of networking through the partnerships capacity, and so many business owners have said to me that they've stopped using ChatGPT for that exact reason, that it almost seems a bit more, yeah, you're right, yes, okay, yeah, well, you're fantastic. And are using things like Claude now, which will question, why do you think that?
Interesting.
And so you have to elaborate that bit more. So, I do I think AI is perfect at the minute? No.
If I wanted a golden Labrador, I would buy one, right?
Exactly. Definitely. Yes. And so I think, so I think, it definitely has its place, and like I say, it's growing. And I think that's something that should be embraced rather than feared. I'm saying that I'm one of the guys who, I think everyone at least one time or another has said, I think my phone's listening to me because it's showing me ads for things that I'm talking about or things that I love that concept.
Yeah.
I love the fact that these websites collect my cookies and show me what I am interested in. My wife hates it. I'm the opposite because I think this is streamlining my search. I approve of that. And that's the same mentality we have with AI, which is some people still hate it and petrified of it and I'm putting in all the data about myself. And but actually look at it for its pros and just help build it by inputting that data and doing those searches.
Yeah, see the opportunity, right? See the opportunity as well as the dystopian nightmare is running parallel to it. I mean, that's such
toaster's going to kill me.
That toaster is listening right now, and it's gonna burn my fingers next time I touch it. But I mean, that exact example happened to me this morning. So yesterday I was recording a podcast with another guest, Katie Wellman, who runs a decluttering business, right? And during that conversation, at some point, I made a joke about how she could be the next super nanny.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. A thing I've never seen. I've maybe have some concept of what super nanny is.
Yeah.
I know it was on like a decade ago or more than that or whatever. But hey, we made the joke. We laughed about it. Right?
Yeah.
This morning on my YouTube feed, super nanny. Nope.
Decepticons becoming. I laughed, you laughed, the toaster laughed. But it's like, no, crazy. But
you see it and your heart skips several beats, and you're just like, oh God. Okay.
But if you were after that, that would have just made your whole journey so much easier. So it's there's pros and cons, but I think it's embrace it.
Yeah.
And I think businesses that don't embrace it, that's where we'll start seeing struggles.
And tell us a little bit here then where Artemis comes into the fold. So at the beginning, we were talking a little bit about, more about the kind of culture and philosophy around how you guys operate. You talked about the transparency you give to your clients. You talked about, things like timesheets, the way that you really show you're there to showcase the value to the clients of what you bring and that ethos. But tell us a little bit about what you can offer. So we've talked about it to a degree, but for somebody who may be listening and thinking, okay, actually, I don't really know what an SEO agency could offer me. And I know you're not speaking for every single one.
No.
But from an Artemis point of view, what does that look like?
Yeah, so I think I hear it more often, and businesses are saying, "Oh, is SEO dead?" Because people aren't searching via Google as much, and the answer is no. Because if anything, I'm seeing a bit of a resurgence in people actually taking SEO as serious as it should be taken, because they're understanding that SEO is the fuel with which AI is picking out everything. 76% of the citations within AI are from the first 10 listings organically within Google still. So you do need to rank, you do need that element. And 76% is huge, as I say, as a percentage when you look at it. So there is still that need within that. So I think from what we offer, we take SEO, but we also take the AI or GEO elements, as I say now, and we are looking to optimize on both levels from that perspective. I think as a business, we were investing in AI before it was fashionable to invest in AI. So since 2017, I always say we're not a massive business because, of course, I've come from these big corporate backgrounds, but by no means are we a small business. But still, since 2017, we've invested over 2.5 million in R&D relating to AI search. And what we've done off the back of that is created something called Artemis Intelligence, which is our own collection of research and strategies relating to that AI level, which normally you would have to be some big corporate commercial business to benefit from. But because of how we've incorporated this, like the local hot tub guy can benefit from that information research we've done, and we can utilize that within their marketing. So that is something which we've trademarked and that we utilize with each of our clients to get them the best results within AI. So when you work with us, it's not just a case of one or the other. It's a case of we look at tackling everything within that element to drive traffic and effectively get the phone ringing, get get clients spending money with you.
Yeah, for sure. And the examples that you gave us, I mean, we spoke about the hot tub guy, who's clearly had a great journey with you.
He's loving it, yeah.
But what's the range of industries that you work with?
It's incredible, as I say, the differences. So even today, I've spoken to a company that does stretch tents. So big events, corporate, various bits like that. Equally, tomorrow I'm speaking to a bookkeeper. Like it varies so tremendously.
Yeah.
I think we've seen great results in all industries, whether it's surveyors, accountants, who I say accountants because they love the fact of timesheets and various things like that, and the regulating aspect. But yeah, we've got supercar garages.
Wonderful.
So everything we'll deal with from your brand new business that's starting up, who takes the internet seriously, all the way through to tens of £1 million revenue businesses who need support or are utilising us to do their SEO alongside their internal marketing teams. So, as I say, we deal with everyone. I think the key thing I would always say with us is we're not a hard sell company. Like if you ring us, I'm not going to convince you to spend money on marketing because I think we want to work with businesses who understand that I need to be investing in the internet because that's where the bulk of my clients are coming from, and so we're very transparent up front with businesses in saying we might not be the right business for you based upon on that side, but if you want to work with us and you get it, we will always get you the results you want.
Because it's that working in partnership, right? And if you're sort of preaching to somebody who is nowhere near converted and trying to make that journey work, it's never going to feel satisfactory at the end of it.
100%.
Whatever increase that you may be able to generate for somebody will never be the perceived value of what it really is.
No, 100%.
So it's great to have that philosophy about it, because there is a lot of from my opinion, there is a lot of hard sell around that.
100%.
It comes up all the time. I don't know why my algorithms feed me such weird things, but like it comes up all the time. Like, if you don't do this, you're going to see this happen, and catastrophe. And do you know what? You might be right, but at the same time, I'm entirely unmoved by such sentiments. So it's great to hear that you value the mindset of your client as well.
100%, because we are building relationships. I had a call yesterday, so maybe 5:45, 6 o'clock. Client we've been working with, we're building their website at the minute, rang me. Probably 90% of the conversation wasn't related to the website. It was talking about other elements of their business. And like I had spoken to a really high-end kitchen company we're working with, and I'd said, well, actually, your clients are exactly the same as her clients, even though she just sells dogs, which are pre-trained effectively.
To not mess up that high quality kitchen,
exactly. And I was saying, well, actually, their target areas are the areas where you've just done a photo shoot and a video shoot for your website.
Fantastic. Yes.
You guys should be talking to each other, and it was like, perfect. And I think once you step away from just give us money, we'll get you results, put in a machine, and there you go. And it's more about helping build this business up.
Let's be part of your team, not 100%, not just the thing you subcontract to, right?
I'll go to networking, and equally it works then vice versa. I was at networking today in Fontwell at an expo, and one of our clients was literally sat across, and we're building their website.
It's like, wait, where's my review, mate?
Come on. I went to give her a business card at the end, and I thought, she's got my mobile, she's got everything. But otherwise, I could hear her saying they're great. And I know she was talking about us because I then spoke to that person. So you think it does work when you each build a relationship and you care beyond just the clicks and the traffic, etc., and focus on that.
I mean, because that's like, that trust is beyond bound, right?
100%.
Like it's, you know, when you guys know each other, you understand each other as people, and your philosophies, and you're seeing great results, and you're seeing growth that is beyond what is in the remit in your contract.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
like that's huge, and it shows the mentality that is. I don't want to say it's rare. I don't think it's rare necessarily, but I don't think it's shouted about enough.
No, I think it's the basic.
Yeah.
Everyone always says the basic is care about your clients.
Yeah.
So I think 99% of businesses should have that.
Yeah.
But I think when it equally comes to marketing, one differentiator which when I came on to Artemis was actually incredible to hear. So we will only work with one industry type within that target area.
Ah, okay.
So because when you think about it, it's otherwise very hypocritical of me to come and say, look, I'm going to get you ranking well, and I'm going to build links on this great high authority website, and then I'm going to your competitor next door and saying, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to like, it wouldn't make logical sense. So, and I think that's one of the reasons businesses do trust us, because one of the key reasons I will turn away business is because it conflicts with one of our other clients, and it's a hard conversation to have, but
it keeps your ethical frameworks in check.
100%. But equally, a lot of businesses. I had it with the solicitor not long ago who rang up, and I was like, "Sorry, it's going to conflict with this." He took it fine. He was like, oh, I'm really sorry, actually, because, I love the sound of that.
Yes, I really would love to be that solicitor.
And look, we've had this with clients who've approached us after a business is retired or not kind of functioning, saying, look, I know you were working with them. Not anymore. Could you work with us? Yeah, perfect. So, it just builds that. We really care about our reputation, 100% as a business. I think most businesses do, but you got to do right by the client.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
They'll look after you at the same time.
100%. And so, Artemis, you mentioned, has been going for 20 plus years.
Yep.
So that's already one hell of a journey, one hell of a legacy that clearly is already started to put into fruition. Where are things going now? Where are you looking at in the future of their business?
So, looking at it from our perspective, firstly, we need more SEO managers. We're actively recruiting for that side now, because equally we won't take on more clients and we can kind of manage well. That's important to us. So, we want to kind of grow from that side sustainably. But I think the core with us, and this is something good about the team, and I don't probably say this to them enough, but I definitely mention it to others I speak to. It's not some autocratic business where this is what we've just learned and therefore I'm teaching it to all of you and you have to do it this way. So many of the team will come with things they've learned or they've found or they've researched, and they bring that to the business as a whole, because they're all interested and love what they do. So I think we will continue to keep adapting and growing and looking at our R&D function, which we really focus on, to make sure that our existing clients are the best service clients that they can have. Awesome. But equally, like any business, I think I certainly, from my perspective, I think from our reputation, the brand, the service, everything, there's so much to offer. And that's why I go to networking, because I want as many people to know about this as possible. And I want to help more businesses and educate where we can and support them.
You mentioned before, this is your second year in the company. I mean, you speak like you've been in it all 20 years.
I treat it that way because I think I've been treated that way since joining. I've been given a lot of autonomy within my area of the business, and I think we're not the cliche where you say, oh, we're a family. I hate that. And that when people say that,
your family, I'm like, is your family, yes.
Yeah, when people say that, I'm like, right, so I'm working till midnight every night and I'm doing that. Like, we're not that, but we are all friends. I would say that. And we each understand the goal there. And I actually said that to our MD today, actually, on a call. We were talking about something different. We were actually talking about teams and processes within the business. I said, one of the things which I've noticed, and I've worked in some massive businesses, is everyone seems to get our focus as a business and where we want to go and what we want to do and our values. Everyone seems to get that. And sometimes you can lose that in these bigger organizations. And so, yeah, I think that's something which we just, if we do grow and we expand and we do that element, that's something that needs to remain at the core. Certainly, in my opinion.
I mean, that's a massive thing. I know that, as businesses grow, as businesses scale, the key message and the key concept of what the values are, the hows, the whys, the wherefores, can become a bit lost, or the messages can stop translating as well.
Yeah.
I mean, thought leaders talk about this all the time. I mean, Simon Sinek's written a book about it, I believe. But it's one of those where there must be something inherently extremely powerful for that not to get lost.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful thing to hear that clearly there is something going well in that respect.
Yeah.
So that's great. But I mean, so that's what Artemis is doing. That's what Artemis is going. What about James? What are you looking at for yourself personally, or in your own role in the business? What are you seeing?
Well, I think let's take personal, because I think one thing I'm super chuffed and proud about is we're expecting our first child next month.
Oh, wonderful!
So little baby girl on the way. So I'm under no illusion that is going to have an impact on me, my mentality, and kind of how that works. All of the clients I deal with literally know this, and as I say, so they're all aware. It's kind of like, oh, by the way, before you come, here we go. This is coming. But
Brilliant.
yeah, so I think from a personal side, I'm content.
Wonderful.
And as I say, that's that gets the mother-in-law off my back, which is fabulous. So no, really good. And I think professionally, I think I've found a great home in Artemis. And I think there's a lot of skills I still want to bring to the business, where my focus has been kind of very, very niche at this point, and I'd love to expand that throughout the business side. And I think there's a lot of support within there for me and what we can do. So and equally, ever-changing industry. So who knows what next month will bring? Who knows what the next Google algorithm update will bring? So
love that, man. That's awesome. So one final thought then.
Yep.
So of all the things we've been talking about today, be it your business philosophies, what Artemis does, how they do it, some thoughts around AI, how we should optimize ourselves as business owners, getting our space right online. What's that one message or the one thing that you wish people knew about either what you're doing, what you offer, or what they should be trying to achieve for themselves? What's that one message?
I think from what we offer, it's not just about driving traffic. It's about what that traffic does when it is on your site as well. And so ensure, whether you use us or whether you're working with someone else, ensure that there's something called conversion optimization in use, which is where they look at what that person is doing within the site, optimize for that, because the last thing you want is loads of vanity metrics of,
we've got
this, we've got all of this traffic,
yes.
But did they pick up the phone? And so I think just take it seriously, look at the steps, imagine you're a client, just have some fun with it and go through. And if you need advice, speak to someone who does it.
Brilliant. And how can anyone who's watching or listening, find out more about Artemis? Where should they go?
So go to our website. It's artemis.marketing. So it's nice and easy in that sense. Have a Google for SEO companies within your area. And otherwise, just reach out to me personally via LinkedIn. I'm always up for a chat. So.
Excellent. James, thanks so much for that. It's been wonderful to talk to you today.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
Some things I've definitely learned and will take away myself.
Nice, fantastic.
Try and optimize, but it's excellent. So many gems there. Brilliant.
Fabulous.
Brilliant.
Thank
you. Guys, please give this a subscribe and a like. And look, if you're as inspired as I was by what James was saying, do check out his website. I'll be putting some links in the description below.